Mohammed Sidik Afgan. The youth are most likely heard this name for the first time. However, if you move so 30 years ago, then his initials are literally did not leave the TV screens. This man became famous as the greatest mathematician and forecaster of his time. Using a unique technique, mathematical formulas, he made accurate predictions regarding many events in the world and destinies individual people. So he predicted the collapse of the USSR, August Putsch, September 11th terrorist attack in the United States, arrival of Black President Barack Obama, events in Ukraine in 2014, and much more. In most cases, the predictions came true. Why go far? Let's take the same collapse of the USSR. When Sidik Afgan stated this publicly, looked at him softly with great contempt and distrust. What the hell is he even talking about? Thought about themselves eyewitnesses. But suddenly, on December 26, 1991, fate destined to happen and predicted by Sidik, the Union collapsed. Who is this person anyway? And is he a human being? How can someone know the future and predict it with mathematical precision? Well, to this, only a mathematician, the greatest mathematician, is capable of. Which is Afghanistan. Today he is 64 full years old. And an Afghan philosopher and mathematician was born on 20 March 1958 in the family of a businessman. Since 1982, the young talent has been studying at Soviet Union. Whether the influence of teachers, then, whether his personal predispositions, in general. Something of this made the young Afghan appreciate independence. He put and puts her above all. After all, Sidik is the son of the earth, everything. Humanity loves and respects all peoples and nations. Planets everywhere feels in its place. From an early age, this unusual child adored mathematics. Fortunately, his father also loved this atom, which helped Afghanistan better in understand it, get the necessary push. Thus, by the age of 19, our hero became a teacher of mathematics. First in civilian schools, and then at the Higher Air Force School. After service in the Army, and again teaching job. Finally, study in the Soviet Union. The man received universal celebrity not only because of their amazingly accurate predictions, but also because of mathematical achievements. Yes, he first in the world derived the formula for solving the inverse Newton's binomial. Those solved the problem that was too tough for many luminaries of science. It's many times tested for knowledge and ability. So, National Association of Mathematicians at the University of Texas at the USA gave him a competition with a computer. 400 questions. Mathematical character Sidik beat off faster computer for 6 minutes 17 seconds. This and not surprising. After all, he is able to extract in his mind any root of a giant number, lightning fast. Arrange the numbers into all sorts of rows, as well as elevate them to stupefying degrees. A little more time passed and Sidik learned about some competition of mathematicians. It was worldwide competition, and such a gifted boy in no way could not miss it. He took a little, borrowed money from loved ones and went to the UN with his latest work. She was dedicated some theoretical elements of algebra, and when the judges saw her, they unanimously declared Sidik the winner. A little bit later, the editors of the American television company IBC again gave him a competition with the supercomputer. for the victory over which Sidik was awarded. The prize is a Ford Mustang. From that moment on, everyone learned about mathematics world. His scientific ideas received official scholarly recognition. He became an honorary academician and professor of many academies of the world. Mathematical. The intelligence of a scientist is still considered the highest in the world. Therefore, it is no coincidence that he, as the property of everything humanity, is under the protection of UNESCO. What happened next? Popularity, fame. He was invited in general everywhere, wherever possible, both abroad and in the countries of the Soviet Union, and even to Russia after the collapse he predicted. The USSR. And although the unusual talent of Sidik Afgan was noticed and claimed, Sidik's heart always belonged to ordinary people, to whom he always tried to help in any way he could. But how did he do it all? Why? The same father who was supposed to have similar brain, achieved nothing in terms of mathematics, and the son came under the protection of UNESCO? As Sidik himself explains, in his opinion everything in the world subject to formulas. Even the fate of people is 98% possible. Calculate. So in the world, all events are natural, interrelated and seem to follow one from the other. To see these patterns in relationships, need to learn to intuitively feel and logically understand the essence of numbers, their meaning and combination. It is the combinations. Numbers form the laws of the development of the universe, and, above all, the laws of its harmonious development. At the same time, scientific forecasting requires knowledge of several sciences in the aggregate: mathematics, history, philosophy, psychology, political science. After all, every historical event has an exact date and a specific place, but only after special calculations and analysis of the set events of the past and present is built logical enfilada, continuing which future events can be predicted. As you understand, such merits of this person could not remain untouched. Every president, every person who is somewhere in top, wanted to talk to Sidik, earn his trust and ensure between they have a good relationship. After all, that's the only way. Acquire information flawlessly both about yourself and about his state, and about potential enemies. Unfortunately or fortunately, make friends with. Only 20-30 presidents succeeded in Afghanistan. 2. Besides, his directness and sincerity in forecasts. Not always and not everyone was to their liking. As a result, his predictions regarding the fate the United States and its allies, as well as their leaders, brought to the fact that it was secretly announced in the West. Persona non grata. And he was threatened with real revenge from their side. Therefore, Sidik considered it right on become a hermit for a while, choosing a place of his residence one of the many lost towns of Afghanistan. Don't worry, a man lives and thrives on this day. He lives in one of the towns of Turkey, where everything is calm and no one bothers him. The main directions of the great mathematician can be: calculate the establishment of the relationship of development, nature, the planet, the universe and history itself, society, with mathematics. In this area Sidik analyze the history of his native Afghanistan, as well as the history of Russia and Ukraine, and then the USSR. He made a number of political forecasts and socio-economic development of these subjects, also with the help of his theory. The relationship of numbers with the fate of individual leaders and entire countries. He explored the relationship East and West and predicted their sharp change in the short and long term. Added to this is research. The role of numbers in the life of a person, family, collective, their future is predicted. Studying relationship between natural and humanitarian sciences based on number theory, forecasting future situations, definition of spirit relationship, and matter, and much, much more. In addition to scientific activities, Sidik is active public figure, like in Afghanistan and throughout the Near and Middle East, where he actively fights for the rights of ordinary people. He is a welcome and frequent guest on TV and various scientific and social forums in these countries. Ordinary people love and respect him for mind, honor, kindness and courage, revere him as true people's leader. Politicians and officials forced to reckon with him and consider for. It's an honor to take a photo with him as a keepsake. So how does he calculate people's fates? Well, to find out the answer to this question, it is worth letting you listen to a direct speech. Mathematics, I immediately stipulate an important point. I do not guess the fate of people or cities with countries. I'm just predicting. I predict. Based on numerical graphs, the formula of which brought out thanks to the logical mathematical gift from the Almighty. Of course, although rarely, I may be wrong. Knows everything with 100% accuracy. Only the Almighty. I predict only within a kind of time corridor, and over time. Some important in the life of people or organizations. Numbers may change. Consequently, some events or their dates are changed. That, the main thing that was originally intended, will take place in any case. Pass by. Key points of fate is impossible, but between the key points there are different sleeves, options for the life path. No, it's not some other, fundamentally new ways. Namely, variations on the theme of the general, the plan of life outlined by destiny itself. In these sleeves a person is free to choose any of variations, and depending on the option chosen, he will move from one key point to another. It seems to a person that such a choice, he does it himself, as if by accident. But in reality, all the key moments of life, strictly foreordained in the Akashic records, in the mysterious global info field, for one and all, for all time. What do you think, could this be true? Maybe Sidik Afgan is not a person at all, but some kind of alien? Or is there in his words truth?